everyone. Welcome to the video blog post for Blueprint for Success, our column in the ABMP's Massage and Bodywork magazine. I'm super excited because today I have a guest to do all the heavy lifting, and it's Kylie Bowers. Kylie, welcome.
Thank you. Delighted to be talking to you.
So Kylie is a writer, an educator, a licensed massage and bodywork therapist. She lives in Durham, North Carolina, right? That's still where you live, right?
Yes,
I know you moved
that
around.
is where I now live. I used to live in D.C.
So Kylie's written a ton of books that I have actually read, which is exciting. A new version of Can I Deduct That? 100 Things You Can and Maybe Can't Take as a Business Deduction, co-written with Margot Bowman. And then she's got a couple other books out there, which I'm actually in the middle of a second reading of Explain Yourself, the nitty-gritty guide to relationship communication. And I read an older version a little while back of Before You Leap, 6 Secrets to making your passion a real business. Pardon me, I'm just going to butcher everything. And there's a book about Airbnb too, but my point there.
And Brisbane, Australia, under a pseudonym, just for the heck of it.
That's awesome. So Kelly's written a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
And there's, I believe, a book that'll be coming out later in the year-ish.
Probably this fall.
But we'll broadcast the heck out of that when that happens. But we brought Kylie in today to answer some charitable questions. Our last column was about when and if you should donate your time to chair massage gigs for charitable purposes and deciding what to do for that. But really, Kelly's here as our resident tax expert to talk about totally throwing that around. See a real tax preparer with these questions sometimes. Wondering what you can and can't deduct when you want to give a charitable gift to an organization or a client who's running some kind of volunteer charitable organization. What can and can't we deduct? So I'm going to throw you a situation, Kelly, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong or how to handle it.
Okay.
So let's say I want to donate, I donate a half an hour gift certificate to a raffle for the local PTO. So I've donated a gift certificate for 30 minutes of time, which is worth $50. How do I write that off?
Okay, the first question I'm going to ask you is, do you have a business intent in donating this gift certificate? Is it because you have kids and this is the PTO and you really just want to support them in general? That's lovely, but it may not be a business deduction. If they represent the kind of audience you'd really like to have on your table, be they neighborhood people, be they parents, be they pregnant women, then yes, you've got a business intent. But that's the first question you've got to ask. It's great to donate things out of the goodness of your heart, but to make them a business deduction, there has to be a business intent. So that's rule one. Rule two.
Let's say I got a business intent. Like, this is totally like my ideal clientele. I don't have any babies, so I don't really care about the PTO, except that, you know, I want my clients to be happy, and I want my name to be put in front of more clients like her.
Yes, yes.
So I got that.
So you got your business intent covered. That's always step one. Now, when you donate a gift certificate, you haven't given anybody a massage. You've given them a piece of paper, perhaps a very nice piece of paper, perhaps an elaborately decorated piece of paper. You've still only given them a piece of paper, or even the promise of a piece of paper. So what you can deduct is, what is the value of that piece of paper? Literally at this point, that's what you can deduct. That's
so like a cent and a half.
Yeah, exactly. You get the deduction when somebody actually comes in for the massage. And we know that a lot of times when we give gift certificates to things like silent auctions and raffles, people get them, but they don't necessarily use them. So you may never end up with a deduction at all. When they come in, you want to look at putting this down not as a gift certificate deduction, but as a marketing deduction, because that's what you're doing with it. And then it's the value of the massage. But until you've actually delivered the massage services, all you've given somebody is a piece of paper.
All right. And when someone comes in and they get the massage, so at that point, the piece of paper, that penny from that portion of the ream of paper, which is just going to get washed in with a whole bunch of other deductions,
Yeah.
and the laundering, which again is going to get thrown into all the other deductions. But then the actual value of the massage. So
if it's a $50 value, then you have spent $50 to market your practice, because that's the value of the massage that you gave.
All right. And you'd want to make note of that and put that into your marketing deductions to discuss with your tax preparer at the end of the year when you're having your tax.
And always clarify this with your tax preparer, because while I have co-written this book, I'm a massage therapist. I'm a massage therapist who is good at working with tax people and explaining their stuff in normal people language. And because I've done it so much, I have picked up a certain amount of knowledge. But at the end of the day, if your accountant says no, that trumps anything I've said.
And some will. And I've actually asked different accountants this question and gotten different answers.
Yeah.
But I think the main point that I want to impress here is that this needs to be recorded. This needs to be tracked and written down in a place where when you are preparing all of your tax prep documents for your meeting with your tax preparer every year, you want to say, hey, I gave 5 half-hour massages for these different charities. How do we work this? Where do we fit this in? I think it's this. How does this work?
Right, because recategorizing it is easy, but remembering 8 months later is hard.
So what about other things? So say I don't want to give any gift certificates because my clientele's pretty full, or I want to donate, I want to do something for this particular local charitable organization, like maybe the food pantry, but I'm not looking for a ton of new clients. So let's say I give them for their event, I give them a basket with a neck wrap and a body scrub and a couple of fancy things like that, and I wrap it all up pretty and I give that to them.
I'm going to go back to question 1. Do you have a business intent?
Yes, I want my name to be seen by a whole bunch of community leaders.
Okay, and those community leaders represent, I mean, if an auditor came in and said, so tell me who of the people receiving these baskets or looking at these baskets represent the kind of people you want to work with, you could get specific about that?
Yeah, let's say I've got a client who's on the board of directors for this charity.
Yeah, and they're good at talking things up. Then what you've got is a deduction with actual tangible value, because the neck wrap and the basket and all that other stuff has a specific financial monetary value. So you gave them a physical thing with a price tag attached. That's easy.
Sweet.
You gave somebody a thing.
Excellent. So then I track and I record how much that basket, what was in it, and how much it was worth, and how much I spent on those things.
And you don't want to track it as a gift. What you could do, there's a whole other category called client.
I think it's called client gifts.
But not gifts. You don't want to use the word gifts because the IRS has some real specific rules and limitations on this. It's client relations. So if your client is on the board at this place and you effectively want to thank them for all of their good business, you might want to categorize this as client relations.
So there's a difference between client relations and that gifts category. And I know with the gifts category, they got that like $25 limit per person.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was a relations category.
Yeah, there is. It's another way. It's for those things that don't exactly qualify as marketing, but because marketing is an attempt to attract new people to your practice generally, or to get current people to get massage more often. Sometimes you give something to strengthen an existing relationship, or to say thank you to a client that you're not technically marketing to. You've already got them on your schedule. They already come as often as they're going to come, but you want to strengthen that relationship. You want to increase that tie between you and that person, and you're doing it by giving them something that matters to them. It's not outrageous. It's appropriate for the relationship. So that's another category to consider and to talk to your tax preparer about to make sure they're comfortable with it. But that's another way of thinking about it. Remember, marketing's about attracting new business, right? Filling up that schedule. Client relations is about how do you take care of the clients you've already got. So that basket might be client relations.
This is a whole new way of thinking about things, Kelly. And I'm so excited about that new category.
Yeah.
So are there any other landmines that you can think of, errors that we make when we are talking about donating our time or actual physical gifts?
Yeah, the thing is, you can't take a deduction for your time as a gift. Okay? You can deduct for a service that you deliver, your massage therapy, but let's say you came and gave a free talk about MS to a support group. Your time giving that presentation, it's not deductible. Your mileage is. If you create handouts, they're deductible, but your time is never deductible. The delivery of a service or a product is deductible. Your time is not. So when you deduct something, you have to look at it and say, literally, okay, one, do I have a business intent? Always ask yourself that. And two, what's the value of the thing I'm actually giving them? You can't take a deduction for your time. You also, and this is not literally related to gifts, you can't take a deduction for self-care. I like throwing that in because I hear some very creative arguments about it. You can't. Ooh. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's a little sidebar. The IRS probably agrees with you. You should take good care of yourself. You just can't take it as a business deduction. But on gifts, and be very careful not to use the word gifts, but client relations, marketing, anything that sounds like that, but not the word gifts, is, you've got a lot of creativity there, because especially if you're giving something that is valuable to the person, it doesn't necessarily have to be literally a massage thing. If it gives you visibility, maybe you take part in a one-on-one basketball shooting event and you've got your practice plastered all over your shirt with the intent to raise your visibility. Okay, basketball playing is not a massage thing, literally, but you've bought that shirt. You maybe bought an ad in their program. You showed up. You can't give your time, but the mileage getting there. Think in terms of all of the things that you do to promote your business, that you give things away. That's what it comes down to. Just remember, not your time, and it has to be the value of the thing that you're giving away. Dang. Those are the areas we tend to get into trouble. Yeah, our time, or go, this gift certificate's worth $90. No, it isn't. It's worth $1.50. Literally.
Until it's redeemed, and then that's a whole other conversation.
Then it's worth $90.
So I think circling back here is to remember intent.
Yes.
Really good record keeping and tracking.
Yes, because you will not remember. Because in 3, 4, 5 years, when you get audited for this year, you're not going to remember.
And then finally, really clearly articulating to your tax preparer and making that decision as a team and doing what they say.
Yeah. The tax preparer is the person who is going to be signing your return with you. Their decision trumps pretty much anything I'm going to say. And if you've got a tax preparer who is uncomfortable with a huge portion of your deductions, either you need to revisit your idea of what a deduction is, or you may need a different tax preparer.
You might need somebody who specializes.
Gets our kind of work and all kind of environment. Somebody who understands service sector businesses as opposed to manufacturing or retail.
And someone whose definition of a small business isn't somebody who's bringing in $500,000 a year with 3 employees.
Right.
It's someone who understands individual one-person sole proprietorships that bring in less than $100,000 a year gross.
And frequently work out of their home and usually have some kind of a home office, even if they do their work somewhere else. Yeah. And don't have accountants and don't have accounts receivable and don't have an accounts payable department. They just have themselves.
Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome.
I will make sure that in the notes to this video, there's a link to Kelly's information and to her books, which you should absolutely read annually. And I'll let y'all know how the relationship book works out for me. But,
Yep.
and keep an eye out for Kylie Bowers' book that's coming out later this year as well. But I'll make sure y'all know about it anyway. Kelly, thank you so much for being, I think you're my first guest for this ABMP
Woohoo!
video blog.
I like
I'm only, I think it's only my second video blog altogether. But
Okay.
thank you for being a guest. As always, I learn a ton and talking to you, and walk away slightly more confused about some things, but much more prepared to have the better conversations with the people I need to have them with. So
yeah, and when it comes to taxes, I take a class and I walk away slightly more confused, but generally more knowledgeable. And
there you
that's
go.
taxes. That's
Awesome.
a perfectly
So
reasonable mindset to have at that point.
I'm cool with it. Thank you so much again, Kelly.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking me.
And bye, everybody. I hope this helps.
All right. Bye-bye.